don't you hate it when somebody answers their own question? I do.
Grab a jam, I swear, this is down. It's my podcast. This guy's insane. Rock your brain. It's just a sound. A Steve here
Hey all, Dr. Fuck here with another Vieira Vault. Yeah, I've been very, very busy, though I've been putting up episodes every week for the past month. And, yeah, I do want to get some guests. I do want to do some things. I have some ideas for future shows, but I've been busy, and it's kind of like, man, I got to put up a new episode this week, and I ain't got no guests. I ain't got time for any guests. I'm doing so much stuff at the moment. My plate is full. Anyway, so it's as I'm recording this, 10 at night. I just got home, kicking back after my shower, feeling really good. But I just figured, let me just do a show where I talk and talk and talk, so I can get another Vieira Vault out there. But you know me, I'll make it interesting, bro. And I want to thank you all for the positive response for the past few episodes. And I have reviews and comments, iTunes and elsewhere, that I'm going to save at the end of the show. Thank you all that took the time to leave me awesome comments. Yeah, sad news. Yesterday, got the news that Dave Mustaine has throat cancer. And wow, I was like, fuck, man. So I read his little press release there, and he said something to the effect of, the doctor said it's 90% curable, which to me that sounds like early detection, which is awesome. So good for Dave. I do that myself, man. I go doctors for a regular checkup. Man, I pay medical, so I might as well use that, when I go visit the doctor a couple times every year for my checkup and stuff. And it looks like Dave was doing it himself. Unfortunately, the great Ronnie James Dio didn't do that, and that's why he's no longer with us, because I believe the great Ronnie James Dio would have kicked cancer's ass with early detection. But, cancer's a motherfucker, man. I lost a couple people to cancer, and, jeez. But more power to Dave. I love Dave Mustaine. I love Megadeth. I mean, there's a few albums I don't like from them, but their last one was amazing. Dystopia. And what was that other one? Endgame. That was like, several years ago. Great fucking album. And of course the classics. My favorite, Peace Cells. Rust in Peace is awesome. The first one so far. They have a lot of great albums. And, Dave Mustaine was a founding member of Metallica and wrote some of those killer songs like Phantom Lord, Jump in the Fire, and stuff like that. And he pretty much is an architect of thrash metal. And, hey, he had something to do with the big three out of the four. He was in Metallica, his own band Megadeth, and Kerry King from Slayer was in Megadeth for a little bit. And I should talk about the one time. There was one time I met Dave Mustaine. And it was when the Countdown Extinction album was at number 2. I believe it was Whitney Houston was number 1. If she wasn't at number 1, they would have had the top album in the country that week. And they announced that Megadeth was going to be at the Button South, which was a popular club down here back in the day in Hallandale, Florida. So I went to meet Megadeth. And there was David Ellefson, Marty Friedman, and Nick Menza. The late, great Nick Menza. Dave wasn't there. And I was like, damn, man. And I was with this girl. And after they left the club, we followed the limo to see where they were staying. And it turns out they were staying in Fontainebleau on Miami Beach. I live on Miami Beach. And where I was living at that time was pretty much walking distance. A little past walking distance, like 20 minutes, but so what? And I went there with some albums to get signed. See, back in the day, it wasn't about getting a picture with them. It was about getting autographs. All that has changed, I guess, because of Facebook and all that stuff. But I took a bunch of albums to get signed. And I met everybody first again, and even Dave Ellison said some of the effect was, "Hey man, weren't you at the club last night?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I want to meet Dave Mustaine, you know." And he said, "Oh, he'll be down soon." So I meet Nick Menza, and Marty Freeman had a Japanese girl with him. So that's a sign of what was to come, since Marty Freeman lives in Japan now. And then finally Dave came out. He was the last one to walk out. And I went up to him with a bunch of albums to sign. And let me tell you, man, he's got a reputation of being a complete prick. But I don't know if it was because Countdown Extinction was number 2 in the charts. He was so nice to me. Really nice. And asked me about the new album, which was Countdown. And I told him I really liked Captive Honor. And I don't know why, he kind of chuckled. He's like, "Oh, that one, huh?" And then I said, "Yeah, but I never did Time in Jail, but..." And that made him laugh. So I got all their autographs. And then he started talking to Nick Menza. And we got into a little conversation there with Nick Menza. Asked me, "Hey, you got tickets to the show tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then afterwards, I should have thought, like, I should have lied and said no, so I probably would have got choice seats, even though my seats were very good. And that was Halloween of, was it 92? And the same night, literally like 5 blocks west of that show, Kiss was playing the Miami Arena on the Revenge Tour. I chose Megadeth and Suicidal over Kiss, and I don't know who opened, but... And I love Kiss, don't get me wrong. I would have went to that show if it didn't fall on the same day as Megadeth. And on a side note, I did end up getting a video of the Miami Arena Kiss show, and it was fucking phenomenal. So, it was the one time I didn't see Kiss. From Creatures of the Night all the way up to the Farewell. That was the only time I missed them. It was because of the Megadeth show. But, anyway, let's all send good vibes and prayers to Dave Mustaine and his family going through this tough time, and speedy recovery. Definitely, man, because we need you, Dave. You rule. So I heard the new Sacred Reich today. I saw the video, and I was impressed because, I don't know, Sacred Reich after American Way, even that one had 41 flavors. The most pompous song ever written in the history of music. Hey man, I like different types of music. You should too. Why not let people listen to whatever the fuck they want, huh? I should write a song called that. Listen to whatever the fuck you want. But it was really good. The video was, the song was fucking awesome. You know, it's pretty much a black and white video of them jamming and little effects going on. But the song was really good, and I was very impressed. No, it's not speed metal or, Death Squad and stuff like that, and Surf Nicaragua. More like One Nation. It was a little more, it's just heavy. It was heavy. It was good. And believe me, when I clicked that video, I was like, oh boy, let's see this crap. And I was like, damn, this is good. Not thrash, not speed metal, but it's just a good damn tune. I like it. A lot of good stuff coming out this year. That new Possessed. Holy fuck, is that good. And the new Death Angel. Man. Great stuff. I really wish Death Angel was more popular. No offense to certain bands out there who I actually love, but I don't like the fact that Death Angel does like a 30, 45 minute warm-up set and always at the bottom of bills. Death Angel needs to be seen headlining. I love Death Angel. Death Angel and Vio-lence are my favorite Bay Area bands, and Exodus. Mostly the Bonded by Blood album, which I think is, on a scale of 1 to 10, it grabs number 10, beats the fuck out of it, and it's Bonded by Blood, then number 1. Ultra Violence too. It's hard, man. When it comes to these thrash albums, what's the best thrash album? It's like, fuck, Vio-lence, Eternal Nightmare, no doubt. But, man, Bonded by Blood. Oh, man, Dark Angel, Darkness Descent. Oh, my God. You know, Rain of Blood. Even though Rain of Blood's not my favorite Slayer album, but I don't know. I'm weird. I'd put it in the top 10 before the other ones because it's so monumental. But Death Angel and Vio-lence, man, those are the two bands that, man, they're such underdogs. I mean, I love the fuck out of them. And I went to San Francisco, a month or so ago to see the reunion. And Gary Holt came on stage and they did Lesson in Violence. Sick fucking show. It was amazing. Sean Killian. A lot of people say I sound like Zetro. And I take it as a compliment. I don't hear it myself. I don't get it. But, you know, I've been hearing it for 11 years. You know, especially like the people that come up going, you know who you sound like, man? After they see us perform. You know who you sound like? And I'm like, Zetro? And they're like, yeah. But one guy said I sounded like Bailoff. And I got to say, if you listen to the Heathen demos, there's one song on the Heathen demos, and I can't remember the name of the song. I sound a lot like Bailoff there. But I don't think I sound like Bailoff at all on Bonded by Blood or Zetro on anything. But I do take it as a compliment because, you know, I love Zetro. One guy said, more than one guy said Udo, that I sound like Udo. And one guy told me, man, you sound like Roddy Piper. And I think that was the coolest compliment out of them all. And he ain't even a singer. But I'm a huge, huge Roddy Piper fan. Not the biggest wrestling fan. I got sucked in, you know, when I was a little kid with, you know, Bugsy McGraw and Dusty Rhodes, and, you know, The Missing Link, all that stuff back in the late 70s with Gordon. Was it Gordon Soley? That was the... And, you know, all the way up to the WrestleMania with Hulk and Andre the Giant. That's when I got really into wrestling. You know, it wasn't like I was a fanatic of wrestling, but I watched it every Sunday or morning or whenever it was, the WWF. And out of every wrestler, my favorite is Roddy Piper. I absolutely love Roddy Piper. In the song Fatal Fury by Thrash or Die, my band, in the middle of the song stops, and I say, just when you thought you knew the answers, I changed the questions. That's a Roddy Piper line. I stole that from Roddy, and I put it in one of my songs. That's how much I love Roddy Piper. But anyway, my point is, Sean Killian from Vio-lence is really, when it comes to thrash, my biggest inspiration. Though I don't sing nothing like him. That's why I brought him up. Like, you know, everybody says Zetro and stuff. You know, people think I may worship Exodus, which I do, but not as much as I worship Vio-lence and Sean Killian's just attacking vocals. It's, you know, it's kind of like the King Diamond thing. Either you love it or you hate it, you know. Anybody in between, get the fuck out. So, yeah, he's a big, big influence on me. You know, another influence is Bon Scott. I absolutely love Bon Scott's. When I write songs, I think of Bon Scott because he's such an influence and, to me, the greatest lyricist ever. But as far as, like, the thrash vibe, man, Sean Killian wrote some sick-ass fucking lyrics. You should read that guy's lyrics. Those first two albums, man, Oppressing the Masses and Eternal Nightmare, are must. You must own them. And a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, Sean Killian didn't look like he was going to make it. He had a liver problem, and he looked very frail. I put, you know, there was like one of those things where you can donate money for his medical, and I put it up on the Thrash or Die page, and I tacked it on top. And, you know, this... I love the guy. And when I was in Oakland, I got to meet him. Well, I met him back in the Oppressing Masses tour, but I met him after this whole thing with his health scare. And, man, on stage, he was vicious. It was the Sean Killian, you know, I knew. And he was fucking amazing. And Vio-lence is amazing. I know they're playing some more shows. I really want to go to the New York show. Let's see if that happens. But love vio-lence, man. And all this came up because the new Death Angel came out, and that fucking rules too. Humanicide. Check it out. Grab it. Now here's something interesting I saw on Facebook today. The long debate of who did the horns first in music. Yeah, you can go back in the Maloic days of Italy, but I'm talking who brought it to music. Well, in my opinion, Ronnie James Dio did. He's the one that made it universal, but there were people that did it before him. A lot of people say Coven, the Satanic Band from the late 60s. They flashed the horns on the album cover, and they did it first, a lot of people say. But a year or two prior to that, John Lennon was doing the sign of the horns during the Yellow Submarine movie era. If you look at the cover, the cartoon John Lennon is doing the sign of the horns, but there are pictures of John Lennon doing the sign of the horns that isn't a cartoon, the actual person. But today, during the debate, John Lennon did it first, Jinx did it first from Coven, and also Gene Simmons said he did it first. But somebody put up a picture of Elvis Presley doing the horns. And he did the horns on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I was like, whoa. And so, what the hell is that noise? My place is haunted. Anyway, so I looked up this footage on YouTube. And I couldn't find the clip because he's wearing a different jacket. Or maybe it was a different appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. But I watched him do Hound Dog. And he did the horns during that song as well. And he's not wearing that same jacket in that picture I saw of him doing the horns. So Elvis Presley was flashing the horns a lot back then. Though it's so trendy to do it now, especially with musicians. I'll give you an example. And I defy anybody out there. Anybody, find me a picture. Any picture of Anthrax doing the horns in the 80s. I never saw it. And now all they do is flash the horns. Scott Ian even has like a horn, flashing the horns tattoo on him with the American flag, drawn over the fist. But they never did. And they also came out and said something. It was on MTV News, which I have that clip. And you can see it on a channel here on YouTube called Dr. Fuck's Thrash Collection, I believe. And it's a segment on MTV where they were kind of bashing satanic bands, and now they have the pentathrax. They have a pentagram. Oh, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of Anthrax music, and to talk about that, all right, like I did with Exodus, Fistful of Metal, like Exodus, is my favorite Anthrax album. But I love Spreading the Disease. I loved the EP, Armed and Dangerous. Among the Living, not as much as everyone else. I love side 1. I don't like side 2. I just don't. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to cry for the Indians. How thrash. But I'm not going to bash Anthrash. But I just wanted to, never ever did they do the horns, and now they're all about the horns and the satanic pentagram imagery and so on. But hey, more power to them. I know they have a lot of fans, and that's all that matters. Who gives a fuck what I think? If you like Among the Living side 2, you're right, I'm wrong, in your opinion. All right, now Facebook and Houses of the Holy Led Zeppelin. You might have heard about this already. It was a couple months ago, I put up the Rain song on my feed, and seriously, it was months later I got a warning, because I even looked at when I posted it. I was like, Jesus, now they're warning me about this? The album cover with the little naked kids on the rocks, Facebook found it as nudity. So they warned me, and Then, like a week or two ago, you started getting like news, internet reports, news sites saying that Facebook is blocking House of the Holy. I was like, yeah, that happened to me. So, and I love that album. So every time I go to post it after that warning, I wouldn't do it unless I found like a thumbnail that didn't have that album cover. Anyway, so they reversed it. It looks like they're okay with it. I guess they got the backlash, and now you can put it up. So the first thing I did was I grabbed my House of the Holy box set and took a picture with it, saying I'm playing this now that Facebook reversed this. But, you know, I mean, I know a lot of us that are on Facebook complain about Facebook, but hey, man, we're there, aren't we? We didn't leave. You know, the people that left, they have more rights to complain than we do. But I'm going to complain anyway. One thing I can't stand seeing on Facebook, other than political posts, but hey, you know, people can't help themselves. A lot of people out there think that their opinion is right, so they want to shove their political party down the throats of the opposite political party. Well, I will never talk about my political views, but, you know, I mean, I do put up stuff now and then that is kind of obvious where I stand. But I'm not going to shove it down anybody's throat. I believe what I want to believe, and I think the beautiful thing about America is that we all are entitled to our belief, even if we disagree with it. We should, well, I know I do. I respect anybody's political belief, even if I disagree with them. Except for, you know, if you worship Che and you hate America, it's like, why are you here? You know, I'm here because I want to change America. You're not going to change it into a socialist. Oh, let me get off this subject. See, it's human nature. We can't help ourselves. But that's not what disgusts me the most about Facebook. What drives me nuts is when I see pictures of animals being tortured. Shit, I've seen pictures on Facebook of, you know, mutilated bodies and, you know, human bodies and stuff, but yet Facebook won't take that down. That's okay. Oh, what can you do? But anyway, yeah, House of the Holy has been unbanned on Facebook, so now those that love that album, feel free to post songs. Some people were telling me, I never got reported. Well, I did, okay? Shit. What do you think? Your shit don't stink? But my point is, you know, that community standard is totally whacked. You know, you can show dead dogs or even videos of people torturing animals and people getting squashed by buses. That's okay, but, you know, you show like a little ass, a hiney of these little kids on rocks. Yeah, I don't get it. You know what's more disturbing than that is that Scorpions Virgin Killers album, the one that with the little nigger girl. I hate that album cover. Can't stand it. Not that the other one's, you know, great with the lineup. That's the one I own, but you know what? I'll take that over fucking that. Man, that shit looks too, you know, like. That shit would turn on a pedophile, where the House of the Holy one, it doesn't. It's just a bunch of kids on rocks, and I don't know, with the whole, I don't know, I think everything that's going, you know, on in that picture, to me is more interesting than the little kids on the rocks. It's that orange castle and the light and all that. And, you know, the little kids on the rock is, you know, just, I don't know, going toward the House of the Holy. Fuck if I know. But all I know is, that's a far cry from that Virgin Killers album from the Scorpions, but that I wouldn't want to see on Facebook, shit like that. But, you know, some little kids on a rock. All right, ManOwaR. ManOwaR just canceled their performance at Hellfest, and it happened hours before they were supposed to go on stage, and, you know, people, hey, look, I love ManOwaR. I have no shame. I don't give a fuck. What all you people that, you know, don't like them, I don't care. I fucking love them. Yeah, okay, the last couple EPs and Sons of Odin and all those redoing of albums, no. But, you know, I mean, Warriors of the World wasn't that great, but it had like, 3-4 good tracks, and I like pretty much everything before that. So they canceled, but Joey DeMaio or ManOwaR came out and said that no, they didn't cancel. The fest canceled them. Our performance at Hellfest, scheduled for June 21st, was not canceled by the band. It was canceled by the Hellfest organizers in their announcement that appeared on their website. In days prior to Hellfest, Switzerland, Greece, and Bulgaria all witnessed our massive production through the Kingdom of Steel come to life. We brought it to Hellfest because we came to play. We fought to give our fans the performance we promised last year at Hellfest, but we will not be pushed around by the Hellfest promoters and chose to not honor the contractual obligations and think they can do wrong to us and to our fans. Those of you who have purchased, tickets, just go to Hellfest organizer directly because they are responsible. We are currently seeking legal remedy available by law. All right. Reading that, it's like, to me, it looks like ManOwaR is there to play. But I guess the Hellfest organizer was like, no, you can't use that stage. And they said, what? We're out of here. So, in a way, I wouldn't just blame, Why not go out there and play bare bones and go up on stage and bitch about how Hellfest wouldn't allow you put all this shit up on stage? I mean, I don't know if that was the reason, but obviously they were there to play, and Hellfest was, I guess the organizer weren't professional, or there was a misunderstanding and stuff wasn't allowed, so they left. They could have easily went on a bare bone stage and kick ass for all the people out there. So, I don't know, man. If you're going to blame them for fucking over your fans, I think you should blame yourself. And I'll tell my ManOwaR story. This was back in 2000, 8 or maybe 9. ManOwaR has always been a bucket list band for me. Always. Loved them ever since I heard Battle Hymns. Back in, what was it, like 83, 84? So, I would get every single ManOwaR album that they would put out throughout all the years, man. And so they finally come to South Florida. Finally. And I'm all excited. I'm like, oh shit, ManOwaR finally. They were the top of my bucket list bands back then. So I get there, so excited. Boy, I was counting down those days. And when I get there, there's a sign on the door that says, Culture Room does not allow spikes. I've been to the Culture Room hundreds of times before that. And I went in there with spikes, and my friends went in there with spikes. I've always seen spikes at the Culture Room. Before that ManOwaR show, and after the ManOwaR show, I saw spikes again. So, you tell me, if it wasn't ManOwar's, involvement, the band that has a song that says, we wear leather, we wear spikes, we rule the night. Gloves of metal. And they're not allowing you to bring in spikes. So, it took forever for them to open the door. Now, the Culture Room has like a patio area. And then there's you walk about maybe like 25 feet, and there's the stage inside with the room. So it's kind of like two separate areas. So, and it was a sold-out show. Rhapsody opened, and Holy Hell, I think, was the opening act. It was three bands. So they bring us all in, and they, like cattle, they put us all in the patio area. I mean, shoulder to shoulder. A lot of people didn't even come in because you couldn't fit. And we waited and waited because I don't know what they were doing they wouldn't let us in there. They obviously weren't sound checking because we weren't hearing we didn't see. You can see the stage from the patio area because there's these like glass doors and stuff, that are open to the public. I've never been in a Culture Room where you walk in and you can't walk into the fucking room. They have the glass doors locked. That's never happened before. Again, I think that has to do with ManOwaR because it didn't happen before or after. So we finally go in. Holy Hell plays. I don't remember much about them. I do remember Eric Adams came out and did like a Phantom of the Opera medley with them, which was okay. you know, but it wasn't memorable. I don't remember much about them. Rhapsody kicked ass. They were awesome. They were on fire, and, you know, I'm not like the biggest Rhapsody fan, but, you know, I own a couple of the records, and, you know, I'm not the biggest power metal guy either, but, you know, I dug it. They were really good, actually. Then the band I've been waiting to see, the bucket list band ManOwaR, comes out. And boy, did they look like they didn't want to be there. It looked like they were going through the motions. They weren't really interacting with the audience. They were just, looked like they were rehearsing. You know, and there was just one part where Joey DeMaio grabs the mic and he starts, like, you know, saying, you know, sexual things to this girl that actually knew that girl, and that's my buddy, I ain't gonna say his name, my buddy's girlfriend. He was pretty much saying sexual shit to. But she was laughing, and he was laughing too at it. And then they just finished the set. Whatever. I was done. I was like, fuck, that sucked. So I walked out, and I went home. You know, because usually I like to hang out and meet the bands and stuff. But I was like, fuck, I don't even want to meet ManOwaR, man. I'm out of here. So I leave, and my buddy told me, well, actually there was a couple friends, when Joey DeMaio came out, he pointed at a guy that was coming up to him saying, don't even think about it. This, by the way, I wasn't there. This is hearsay, but this is what I heard. Eric Adams kind of giggled and said, no, I don't think so, when they went up to him. And I didn't hear anything about Scott Columbus. I did hear something about that guy that's now in jail for owning kiddie porn, Logan. I heard they met him at the hotel, and, well, I didn't hear nothing. I don't remember I'm sure he wasn't a dick, but he was not there for long. Something like that. I can't remember. But Scott Columbus, may he rest in peace. He passed away, but I don't remember hearing anything about him being a dick to anybody. Eric and Joey. But anyway, that is my ManOwaR story. So for all that shit to go down at Hellfest, I don't know, man. Judging by that one night I went to go see ManOwaR, if Hellfest is responsible for anything, I'd throw ManOwaR in the mix too, because they could have went up there, did a bare bones show, and then just say between songs, we're sorry, we were supposed to put this, but talk to the Hellfest guys, you know, see if you can get a refund that you ain't getting a killer, you know, show. Yeah, go up there and be douchebags to Hellfest, but at least get up there for your fans. All right, well, I'm pretty much done, but yeah, it's going to be a short one. But I do want to talk about the Rock and Pod Expo that's going on in Nashville in August, and I'm going to play you a promo now.
Rockin' Pod is back. The annual celebration of rock returns to Nashville. This convention brings together the best rock stars, music podcasters, vinyl and memorabilia vendors, and rock fans from all corners of the globe. Special guests include Michael Sweet of Stryper, Brian Forsyth of Kix, Jason Beeler of Saigon Kick, Eerie Vaughn of Danzig, and members of Exodus, Roxy Blue, Every Mother's Nightmare, Kick Tracy, and more. Music podcasts from all over North America will be recording on-site all weekend. Special pre-party featuring the rock and roll residency, The Talisman, 8-Ball, and Lipstick Generation on Friday night. Rockin' Pod Expo on Saturday. Join us at the Nashville Airport Marriott August 9th and 10th for Rockin' Pod. Podcast registration and tickets and VIP packages available now at rockinpod.com.
All right, there you go. Man, they forgot to mention that Dr. Fuck was going to be there. Yes, I am going to be there. And it'd be cool, man. Look, I've been there 2 years in a row. This will be my third year, and every time it's a fucking blast. So come on out to the Rockin' Pod Expo 3 in Nashville. If you live in the Nashville area, man, you'd be a fool to miss this. And if you don't, hey, and you got money to spare and some vacation time, come hang with us, man. All right. Anyway, so now let's go into the comments. Yes, I'm saving them for the end of it. And yes, I have an iTunes review from JD Sauceville. I think I know who that is. He writes, "Fucktastic. From the rock and metal combat podcast to the Vieira Vault and everything he does in between, Ralph Nail never fails his ability to entertain his friends. Thank you so much for an overnight truck driver, for all the great content that has kept me between the lines on countless nights. Well, dude, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you listening to Rock and Metal Combat podcast and my podcast. That's fucking awesome. And I hope you enjoyed this one where I just babbled about a million things. I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this show. I'm going to have to cram a lot of titles, a lot of words in that title. All right, so the next one is from Spreaker on the Michael Brandvold episode 7. We put the best villain in podcast history on the hot seat, the Michael Brandvold interview, where I had some people on my Facebook ask him questions, and he didn't dodge any of them. Well, we got a comment on Spreaker from Michael Brandvold. He says, thanks for the invite. I had a great time. Love the discussion and questions. Now I need to get back to banning people just because. Well, if you know Michael Brandvold, yeah, he is very hated by so many people. So that's why he, and then somebody from my page christened him the best villain in podcast history because he pisses off everybody. He even pisses off some podcasts that says they're villains. Now that's a villain. All right, now let's go into some. Now the YouTube reviews are insane. There's just too many of them when it came to that last one I did about Vinnie Vincent. But God, it'll take me forever to read all these. I'm gonna just do some. This is from Fish Sticks for You. I like that name. He writes, VV came at a moment when they needed another mind for a creative process. The guy has serious psychological issues. As talented as he was, it's over. He's a liar. He continues to shit on his fans. Giving VV total control over something is like giving a 5-year-old a loaded and hoping they won't shoot their eye out. Gene Paul, Mark Slaughter were all right about him. That's right. And, man, everybody join the YouTube page because there are way too many. And that's like a short one compared to this other one. Let me just breeze through the shorter ones. I'm going to read Bob Gibson left a comment, Scotty Jordan, Dr. Earl W. Brown, Chris Law, Thomas Wolfe, Edward M., Luigi Garcia, Brian Falarski, James Hughes, Blank Palette 2. Oh, man, this is going on and on. See, I'd be here forever reading all these comments, which I am going to read them, but not on the air. Come on, y'all don't want to read this or hear this. Silver Tongue 85, Mr. Kiss 2, Joseph PM, Dune Duggle, Todd Tracy, and he has a lot of comments from other people. A big conversation going on there. Doom Reverb, Keith Novinsky, Kay, Stephanie Mancini, which I know you, Stephanie. The Clarences, Dan Taft, Bright Bite. Yes, I remember you from the chat room. Boy, you got a big conversation going on there. And, oh my God, and so on. Believe me, it's going to even take forever reading people's names. But I do want to thank everybody that left comments. I'm going to read them, when I have time. Again, thank you for listening to the Vieira Vault. But before we go, we have to go into the vault. All right, in the vault. Okay, what I'm going to play you now is one of my favorite local bands down here. It's called Necromaniac. And I do a guest appearance on one of their songs that hasn't been released yet. It's called Tables Are Turned. I remember hearing them practice it. I go, man, that has like this kind of a Sabbath vibe. And I really dig this song. So they asked me to do a line while the other singer does a line. We go back and forth. But what I did the day when I went to go do my lines, the guy recording, the producer said, why don't you go in there and sing the whole song? And then I'll fix it later and I'll add Paul's vocals in afterwards. So I'm like, okay. So I went in there and I did it all in one take. Because I have performed this a lot with them before recording this. And I mean, I had the lyrics. I practiced it all week. And I went in there and this is all one take. And this is the version with all my vocals. Because as far as I know, I don't even know if they fixed it yet where they added Paul's vocals in it. So this is the version with just me singing. It's unmixed, it's unmastered, but it's a rarity, man, because this is not ever going to be released. So they, when I did the vocals that day, the guy recorded it, gave it to me, and that was all to it. So here it is, Necromaniac, where I sing the whole song. This is Tables Are Turned. Well, there you go. Necromaniac, Tables Are Turned, with me on vocals. And that's it, my friends. If you're listening to my voice now, you know I fucking like you more than all those other motherfuckers that tuned out before that aren't listening to me now. What the fuck's up with them? Nah, you know. Not anybody can be cool as you. Anyway, hey, leave me comments on iTunes and, you know, and on this video that you see on YouTube, let me know what you thought of this episode where I'm just yapping. Should I do more of these? It's not like, you know, I can get guests all the time. So, you know, I do want to be very current and putting up new episodes. So, you know, I have to put an episode up a week, even if I'm talking alone. Is that okay, people? Because if it's not, let me know down below. So that way, next time I do an episode where I'm just talking about my with myself, I'll think of you and laugh. Anyway, everybody out there, you all fucking rule, man. Thank you. Till next time, schmack-a-macabre. This video was brought to you by MiamiMetalMerchant.com for competitive prices. Check out MiamiMetalMerchant.com. Tell them Dr. Fuck sent you.